Okay. All right. Oh, good. There's 4 of you. Awesome. Hello. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. And I was just looking through the comments on Patreon of some of the questions. And when I said no limits, you guys really meant like no limits. So um, I'm going to start with the most recent questions because they were a little tame. And then we'll like progressively go crazier to the wild questions that you guys asked me. So, um, Sven asked, what is the most uncomfortable thing that you've ever done? And honestly, it was just a few weeks ago, and it was eating oysters because I'm not really a fan of seafood, and I know I'm absolutely in the wrong location for that. But uh, I didn't know what to do. I just I took the oyster, and I was like, do you chew it, or do you just chug it back and swallow it? And so I basically swallowed this whole oyster whole, and I was just gagging like a little kid that was trying to eat a food they don't like. So that was a very uncomfortable thing. Next question. So Erasmo asks, which Instagram female influencer would you make out with without even thinking? So the answer to this question is Gia Genevieve. She was a pinup girl back when I was a pinup girl. Now she's like a super successful model, and she's performing with Dita Von Teese. And I've always thought that she was super beautiful. So that would be my choice for that. And Steve asks, would you ever consider dating one of your fans, and are you moving back to the States? I would definitely consider it because, I mean, the cool thing about what I do is that I get to meet people from all around the world, and there's kind of these endless doors for opportunities. And so I wouldn't put it past me. I think it would be cool to, I don't know, just build some sort of connection with the follower. And I probably wouldn't move back to the States unless there was some sort of medical emergency with my family, or some reason that I had to go back. I'm pretty happy living in Europe, so I plan to stay for a long time. Okay, Thomas asks, why do you cover up your nipples? And I get this question a lot. Let me see if this is a little bit better. Why do I cover up my nipples? It's just a personal choice that I've always had, and anybody that knows me, you guys know me, know that I like to have a little mystery. I'm all about the tease. So I don't know, maybe someday I'll show them, but I just don't really feel the need to. I like keeping the mystery and keeping people guessing what my nipples might look like. So that's the answer for that. And Bob just requests that I post more shear sets, so I can do that. Giuseppe asks, the girls of the 1950s had curves that were a joy for men's eyes. What do you think about the power of femininity in voluptuous women? I think that my following and the fact that I have so many people watching and appreciating my work now, even though I'm not thin and even though I am curvy, is a testament to the power of voluptuousness, and that there is something primal in humans that appreciate curves and softness, and that's never going to go out of style no matter what happens. There's kind of a timelessness to it. And I really think curves are super powerful. They're amazing, and I love mine. Lizard Man asks, favorite guilty pleasure snack from different places that you traveled? Okay, so this one isn't from my travels, but when I lived in the US, one of the things that I like that's definitely guilty is Funyuns snacks. They're onion flavored, dried chips, crisps. So that's a guilty pleasure. I like Pocky when I'm in Asia, the little chocolate sticks. And Here in Europe, um, I guess just croissants are pretty good. And okay, Def Jam Lil Jon 84 says, have you considered doing private fetish videos focusing on parts of yourself being non-nude and excluding questionable material? I haven't really done private customized videos. I've gotten a lot of requests for that. I'm not sure why I haven't done it because I could make more money from it, but I just like making videos for Patreon, and I don't know, the private videos just feel a little bit weird to me, so I haven't really done any. But if somebody had like a mild request, like for feet or something, or I don't know, or like stockings, I could probably do that. So who knows? Um, Z for Zap, yes, says, of all the places you've traveled, where would you call your second home? My second home right now is Spain because I've learned the language, or at least I'm trying to, and I'm really trying to like integrate myself into European and Spanish life. And he also asks, what places have you been wanting to travel and see but just haven't gotten to them? I really want to go to Cape Town, South Africa, because I love adrenaline and I love skydiving. And I believe it's Cape Town was ranked #1 in the world for skydiving because the views are so spectacular. So I really want to go to South Africa, but a lot of people have told me it's incredibly dangerous and you have to get like guards and escorts wherever you go. So, and it's also quite expensive to fly to South Africa. So that's just been kind of on my list for later. And he also asks, any cultural food that you've tried during your travels that you miss? I really love pad see ew from Thailand. It's like wide Chinese rice noodles with like kind of like a sweet soy sauce. And God, it is so hard to find them outside of Thailand, like authentic versions. So I really miss the Thai version specifically. Okay, wow, he has a lot of questions. He also asks, do you have a sentimental item from your travels? And um, hmm, I don't think I have any. The only thing is I travel with my stuffed squirrel, so I carry that with me wherever I travel. So that would probably be the only thing. Dianou from France has some naughty questions. Save those for later. Ooh, Erasmo has a question. What do you think about war? I think war is incredibly complicated, and I used to read this in Indian philosopher Osho, and he said that war was necessary in order to shake things up so that places could restructure and rebuild. Because if you never have any war, you never have any change, then you never grow. So I think war does have a certain purpose, but I mean, personally, I would always avoid it because it's awful to have people dying. But I can see that it can cause shakeups like in powerful ways, like when you look at Japan or Germany, who suffered some of the most losses during World War II, and now they're some of the strongest economies in the world. So for that reason, I think war was not good, but it was a catalyst for change and advancement. Anyways, I can get philosophical very easily. So, okay. Rockmax3 says, have you ever really and madly fallen in love with anybody? Uh, I think the last person I was with was the closest I've been to being in love. And I wouldn't call it mad because I think I'm still a little bit reserved. Like I still hold a little bit back and try to like maintain myself so that I don't lose myself in another person. So yeah, I maybe when I was like really younger had some of that kind of like chaos love or like obsession infatuation, but haven't had that for a long time, and I'm kind of okay with that because I like to stay like healthy and not flying off the rails with the infatuation. Lizard Man asks, which sports do you follow? I don't really follow any sports at all. I like watching football, soccer when they're on, and especially living in Spain, like there's some of the best teams in the world with Barcelona and Madrid. So I'm very proud of these teams and to watch the games when they're on, but I don't actively track scores or anything like that. And he also asked, do you date black guys? Yes, I have dated some black guys in the past. I'm pretty open-minded to any kind of person as long as there's a connection. Max Mass asks, which charity activities do you enjoy the most? In which countries are your favorite to be volunteered? I love volunteering for Habitat for Humanity because even though I look very girly, I am really a tomboy at heart, and like, I don't know, the smell of sawdust like turns me on. Like, I love being around like power tools and wood and concrete and like building things. So any kind of volunteering or even just like home improvement projects that I get to do where I can use power tools and build and improve things is so much fun. And in terms of like countries that I like volunteering in, Bulgaria was really interesting because the country was so poor that there's really a lack of a lot of social services, and just seeing like the massive lines of people lined up at the soup kitchens just to get like a cup of soup, and like almost all of them were elderly. And it just made me sad that like there wasn't really like a social safety net, because I was like, where are all these people's families? Like, why isn't the government doing anything to like feed all these like hungry elderly people? So for that reason, I enjoyed working in Bulgaria because there was just so much need. And so that's the answer to that one. And I think you guys can ask questions on here. I don't know. You can submit questions in the live chat. Okay, William. So do you plan to do more sheer clothing, showing more skin? I think that we would all love to see you nude. Do you plan on giving your longtime followers a treat? I am experimenting more with sheer stuff, but I don't think I'm ever going to go full nude because that's just not my personal preference. But I do like playing around with like implied and creating a little sex appeal that way. Stephen asks, politically speaking, where would your beliefs fall on the political spectrum? Do we want to open a can of worms today? I would say that generally I am environmentally progressive, fiscally conservative, and socially liberal. So that would be kind of my breakdown. I don't believe in Democrat or Republican because there's so much more nuance than that. Richard asked, do you have plans to take your content to the next level, like full nudity, X-rated videos? Again, probably not. Just not my style, because I mean, I don't think that I'll be doing Patreon like in my 40s or 50s. Like, there may be a time that I need to go back into the workforce. So I think just kind of that fear of judgment from society, and like if I do nudity, that's just like another line and another limit that I don't want to cross. And just for me personally, like I feel better not having any nudity. So I know everybody asks for it, but no plans for it as of now. RockMax3 also asks, if you have your own sexual fantasies, and if so, what are they? I definitely love role play, so I am very creative, and I think you guys can tell from my Patreon, I love dressing up in a million different costumes and just playing. Like, in terms of my fantasies, like I have just like lists and lists of ideas. So I'm very like experimental with my love life and with the work that I do. So, I mean, for example, like the schoolgirl costume that I ordered is also going to be used in real life for a schoolgirl fantasy. So that's just one example. Let's see what else we got. Fari asks, who's your favorite porn star? Well, male or female? My favorite male porn star is Manuel Ferrara. And it's funny because I actually became friends with him on Instagram now, so sometimes we chat, and it's like crazy to like have a friendship with your favorite porn star, and like I don't know, it's cool, and I appreciate his work. And for women, who's the one? Okay, well, I don't know. I think my favorite female porn star is probably Alexis Texas because I get compared to her sometimes. And I've met her a few times, like when she came to Columbus. And so I think she's really cool and really beautiful. And I appreciate kind of like the career and the empire that she's built for herself. And her butt is amazing. And I touched it one time. So I can verify that. And then he also asks, what are 3 of your favorite porn scenes or videos? Boy, like, how do you pick 3? Like, my bookmarks there's like hundreds of them. So I don't think I have a top 3. Yeah, that would be difficult to choose. Muhammad asks, what age do you prefer for your man? So again, it depends on the connection, but I mean, my last long-term boyfriend was 2 years younger than me, and the person I was dating recently was 20 years older than me, and now 10 years older than me. So it's kind of all over the place, but I'm definitely starting to appreciate older guys a little bit more because I know it's like such a cultural stereotype of like men maturing slower than women, but I mean, I think it is nice to date the older guys that are like a little bit more established and kind of, I don't know, they have like a vision or they have a direction. A lot of the younger guys are kind of like lost. So I found a difference with that. Ronnie asks if I'm a virgin. I am not, unfortunately. And actually, fortunately, I don't think I'd want to go back to being a virgin. Ronnie asks, do you think sex is a necessity of body and life, and how many times do you have it? I don't know. I think classifying sex as a need is like tricky territory because it is a need for like our species to continue on, and it is like such a strong urge, but I think it varies between individuals. Like, I mean, because you have asexual people that could probably go years and be fine and be happy with that. And then other people going like 1 week or 1 month would be torture for them. So it's somewhere between a need and a want. I don't know. Brandon asked, do you support soldiers? Absolutely. I have dated a soldier in the past, and I recognize the incredible amount of discipline and sacrifice that goes into that career and that lifestyle, and I really have a lot of respect for that. So I salute you, soldiers. Mr. 42 asks, what things won't you do in the bedroom? That is a great question. I think the worst thing for me is just boredom. So if I am just laying there, I think that would be something I would not do because it's supposed to be fun. So in terms of limits, like, yeah, I don't know. I think just being boring would be the worst thing. Gio says, how would a woman be attractive to you for a sexual response over a glass of wine, and would you pursue it? Well, I think if you're drinking, like, anybody can become attractive. So, I mean, again, it's about the connection and the chemistry, and I consider myself to be hetero-flexible. So I don't actively pursue women for dating, but if I'm in an environment and I'm feeling it and there's good vibes and good connection, then sure, why not? I'm not opposed to that. Okay. Max asks, which is your best wine to accompany an exotic dinner? So I am like a super light drinker. Like actually right now I'm not drinking at all because I'm on a medication to clear up my skin. So I really don't know a lot about wine, to be honest, but usually I would choose, well, I like the Spanish cava, which is like a sweet, light wine, but in terms of pairing, I don't know what that goes well with. I like things that are light and bubbly, like champagne and prosecco, and typical girly wine drinks. So yeah, I don't have a sophisticated answer for that. So he got very into this question, and he asks, when you take photos in a bodysuit and high heels, have you ever thought of how it would be having sex with an unknown guy? How would you feel having sex in front of a mirror without turning out those clothes? Well, I think there's a lot of times I actually turn myself on when I am doing photo shoots and when I'm taking my photos, and I hope that that transmits through my photos and videos to you while I'm creating them, because like I do feel a lot of energy within myself, like, oh, like I look good today, like feeling really happy and confident about myself. So I think, yeah, there's definitely times when I dress up for my shoots that I'm like, oh yeah, it would be nice to have like a mystery person here right now or somebody special to dress up for. So yeah, that definitely crosses my mind sometimes. General J says, hypothetically, what would be the ideal Patreon 18 plus video starring Lily Lux if you pulled out all the stops? Good question to get the imagination running. So, I mean, it would probably be like some sort of orgy, like it would definitely be like all the stops. Like it would be crazy and oily, and I would try to have like some elegance to it as well. And it would be like in a weird location. Like I wouldn't want it to just be at a house. I would want it to be like outside or like at a luxury hotel, or I don't know, something fun and elegant. Like I don't know. I think the ideas of like orgies in Paris or something like that would be like incredible. That would be a beautiful video. Paul says, "What's your favorite sexual activity?" I think I'm probably going to skip that one because that's a little bit personal. Jason asks a giantess question. If you were an evil giantess, would you eat little people and crush them with your bare souls? So this giantess thing is new to me. So I'm not sure yet if I would be an evil one or a good one. I guess it just depends on the people, and if they're annoying and if they're nice, I will be merciful, and if they're not, they might get the smush. Okay, so let's see if there's any other questions. Yeah, I think that's all of them. So you guys are welcome to ask me a question in the live chat here. I can stay on for a little bit longer if there's another question. I don't see anything for questions here. So if that's all, I'm going to say goodbye. Hasta luego. I will talk to you soon. Mwah.